Hello, 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 and welcome. It's your girl Esha here, Carnivalista in Chief of the Carnivalista Lifestyle. And get ready to flow with Twerk Yoga. I am so excited today. Super excited. This is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, and she is here. She has agreed to talk with me about Twerk Yoga, and I'm so pleased to announce the Twisted Yogi herself, or introduce the Twisted Yogi herself, Miss Keke. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Esha. So glad to be here.
Yes, you're so welcome. And I'm so pleased that you agreed to talk with me on camera today. I'm really excited. So I will allow you to introduce yourself to everyone. So please go right ahead.
So I'm Kiki, and I am a proud Black woman. I go by she, her pronouns, and I really consider myself to be a body affirming, trauma sensitive yoga practitioner. And one of the ways that I offer yoga, there are many, but one of the ways that I offer yoga is through Twerk Yoga. It's one of my favorites, and it's something that helped me personally along my journey of healing and transformation and rediscovering life. And so I help people rediscover life through movement and meditation. That's me.
I love that. I love it. Yay. So can you share a little bit about your journey? Because I know you have such a beautiful story, and a beautiful transformation as well. So just share a little bit about your journey and what led you to yoga, and a little bit about that for everyone.
Absolutely. So my first yoga experience, I was a freshman in college, and I don't say how long ago that was, but it was about 15 years ago. I went to a yoga class, and I was starting to gain like the freshman 15, right? And the people around me, family, were like, oh, they were noticing my weight, because we tend to do that in Black families, is notice our weight, right? And so I was like, well, I don't want to exercise. I don't want to sweat. And so I went to a yoga class. And I was the only person that looked like me in the class. My body at the time, I maybe was maybe 150 pounds. I want to say I'm 5'2". But I had the most body in the classroom. I'll say it like that, curves and all of the things. And the yoga teacher made me feel so uncomfortable. She called me out, oh, we have a new student. I can tell you haven't been to yoga before, saying things like that. Yes, it was so bizarre to me. And I'm like, what? And it was everything but peaceful. And I ended up leaving that class, and I was just like, I don't want to say that I do not like yoga, but I do not like being in a space. And I couldn't find at the time any yoga teachers that looked like me in the area. And so I found some books at a local bookstore, picked them up, and started reading them. I put yoga down for a really long time, and I went through a series of traumatic events. And fast forward 10 years later, I find myself married, 4 children, and in a deep, dark hole of depression, anxiety, mixed in with some other things, right? And I was falling really fast and feeling very hopeless, and that the world would be a better place without me. And so my therapist at the time told me that I needed to move my body. And it was like, you have to move through the things that you're holding in. I was very unwilling to speak and use my words. I'll go to therapy and just sit and look at them, right? But I thought that I was checking off the box. I was checking off things off my list, but I was not healing. I was not actually doing any work for myself. I was very unaware and very disconnected from my body. I did not feel at home in my body at all. And so I one day was watching something, and I don't know what I was watching, maybe TV. And the person did a headstand. They did a headstand. And I don't know why that piqued my interest. And I said, I can do a headstand. I've always wanted to do that. I had a really rough childhood and I didn't play a lot. I didn't do childlike things like I should have. And all of a sudden I felt like being a child. And I'm like 27 years old, pregnant with my fourth child, right? And I'm like, I'm gonna do a headstand. I could not do a headstand. I fell and bust my butt. I hurt my neck, hurt my shoulder. And then I laid there for a second and I was just like, I have done much harder things and I am in a much harder space in my life right now. And I would rather, if I'm in a place where I'm thinking about being unalive, why not get up and try it again? And that's what I did every single day. I focused on doing a headstand. I had no idea that it would lead me to yoga. I had no idea it would lead me to yoga. Cleaned out my garage and I found those books that I had picked up from college. Started reading them again. And my goal was I was going to get into a headstand. I was going to get into this headstand. And what ended up happening was I got on Instagram. My oldest daughter at the time, she was like, you should get on Instagram. There's black yogis up here. And she showed me this black yogi. Her name is Renee. She's simply Renee W on Instagram now. And I was like, my body didn't look like her. I had gained a significant amount of weight. I didn't look like her at all, but she inspired me. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take my clothes off. I'm going to get naked. I'm going to be raw and I'm going to get into this headstand. And that is how my journey to yoga started. It took me down a different path. And yes, for vanity reasons, it kept me going though. And it turned into this spiritual path. So that's how I got started. Lots of childhood trauma, lots of adult trauma. And I needed a place to put all of this is outside of the places that were compartmentalized within my body. I needed somewhere else for this to go because I couldn't carry it or hold it anymore. What I later found out is that headstands allowed me to change my mind. Let me look at things from a different point of view. Right? A different perspective.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to jump in here and say. Literally, you turned your world upside down. Literally.
Yes. Literally.
That is amazing. Oh my goodness. I love that. Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like the literal and the physical interpretation of where your life needed to go. Like
yes.
Everything just needed to be flipped.
Yes.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. So that is your yoga journey. Yay. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. Because I know, there are a lot of women in our audience who are feeling in that stuck place. Maybe they are depressed. Maybe they feel like they're stuck, feel like they're in a rut. And, that's one of the things that I'm passionate about as well myself is if you are in that rut, take a step. You don't have to flip upside down like Miss Keke did, but the baby step that you may want to take or you may be thinking of taking may even feel like you're turning your world upside down, right? Because it's coming outside of your comfort zone. So I'm really passionate about, taking those steps to changing your life and bringing into existence a life that you really want. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I thank you so much for sharing that story. That is awesome. So my next question for you is why twerk yoga? Because this is interesting to me. Because I don't think I mentioned this at the beginning. Keke is actually my own yoga instructor, and she is absolutely fantastic. I mean, my body hasn't felt like this in a long time. So it's really great to work with her personally one-on-one. And I'm sure your classes are amazing as well. But talk a little bit more about twerk yoga specifically and what are the benefits of it?
Yes, absolutely. So I'll start with how I came to twerk yoga. I feel like everybody has a COVID story. And so this is mine. COVID happened, right? And by this time, I was divorced. I was living on my own for the first time in my whole entire life. I had never lived by myself. And not only was I living by myself, like I had children that were like, I have their childhood in my hands. And COVID was happening. I'm sitting at the house, and fortunately, my ex-husband and I had a great co-parenting situation. And so, but my kids would leave for a week at a time, 7 days to be exact. And so in those 7 days, I was home completely by myself. It was me and my animals. And I started doing mirror work. This is when I started getting deeper into my shadow work. I had dabbled and dabbled. I pick it up and put it down. Well, I picked it up and I held on to it, and I did some mirror work, and I would get into the mirror and I would look at myself. And I had been practicing yoga for years at this point. But some breakthroughs needed to happen. And so one day I turned on some music and I was cleaning my house and I was dancing. I know that I'm not the only one that has this experience, right? Like clean up the house, dancing. I'm
Definitely not.
I am getting it in. And like something was like, move your hips, girl. Open up those hips. I was taking a sabbatical from physical intimacy, including my own self-pleasure in that way. But those hips, they were talking to me. My root was talking to me, and it was like, girl, open up. And so I got down and I just started moving. I wouldn't even call it twerking at the time because that's not where my mind was at. It was just like, I just need to move my body. I need to get into, I need my back to do some things. I didn't care what I looked like. But then I started getting in front of the mirror and being more intentional about what this movement looked like. And again, I stripped down completely naked, or be in my panties and my t-shirt and my panties on. Y'all remember that song? So I was in my t-shirt and my panties. And I was like, I'm gonna twerk. I'm gonna twerk. You know, I had mastered headstands at this point, right? So it's just like, all right, what else can the body do? And I started to twerk in the mirror, and I started to gyrate and find freedom. I wanted to be free completely. And that allowed me to be free. And so I started doing some research, and what I discovered was, twerking is so much more than this colonized way of thinking of twerking, right? We think of rap videos and people just shaking their butt and all this other stuff. And for so many of us women, especially at the time, so I should say at the time, I was a director of a nonprofit, and I was in a lot of spaces with a lot of different people. And at this time, we're working from home, and I'm going from having to be very, very, very professional to being at home. And I'm like, I need to like be free. I need some ratchetness in my life. And so I started doing some deeper diving in my work and to find freedom. Like, what does freedom really look like? And so I realized that I understood chakras more in this time. And so twerk yoga is this opportunity to balance and create harmony amongst our chakras. And our chakras are these energy centers, right? These energy centers along our spine and the upper and mid point of our back, right? And so chakras and meridians. And I said, okay, twerk yoga is a movement that should be felt, understood, and respected. And I was like, well, twerking. And I said, well, if I combine this with a little bit of yoga, I have twerk, I have awareness, I have healing, right? We put them together. I'm twerking, I have awareness of what's happening in my body, and I have access to healing that I didn't have before. It opened up some things because my chakras were way out of balance. And so when your chakras are out of balance, so this is the nerd part of me coming out. This is the part of me that enjoys knowledge, and I want to share this knowledge with you. And so with twerking, in order to feel it, to respect it, to understand it, there are these two energy centers in the body. There's the root Muladhara, and then there's the sacral chakra, right? We've heard of these, or some of us have heard of these. And those are the two areas that twerking really works. And when our root chakra is imbalanced, if you will, we experience depression. We have depressed moods. We have the inability to ground ourselves and to center, we feel insecure, instability in our lives. We lack an enjoyment for life. Sexuality is blocked. Intimacy, there's this shame around intimacy, there's this shame around ourselves, and man, I could keep going, right? But what I understood is once I started to move in that way, the sadness around being alone, the sadness around what was happening in the world, it didn't exist when I was in my body, when I was twerking, and when I was creating awareness in that way. It was incredibly freeing. It still is freeing. I'm gonna twerk when I get off of here, actually. So put on your favorite music and just see what happens. You know, it's not about making the booty cheeks isolate or doing these fancy. We got the water challenge going on right now. It's not about that. It is not about that. Right. So
Yeah.
I'll pause right there and let you ask me questions. I have other things that I could say, but I'll stop right there.
Yeah. I think that's a really great explanation of what it is and providing a deeper understanding, right? Because as to your point, and as you were talking about twerking, I was thinking about the parallels with soca music and, you know, dancing and whining and, you know, just releasing all of that energy and getting back in touch with your body, because there's no way you can dance to soca music and not be in touch with your body, because it involves so much and it involves all of the senses, and you're sweating and, you know, you're having a good time and you're laughing. So I was thinking about the parallels there, because that's definitely something that I love about the Caribbean culture in general and Caribbean music. You know, there's a lot of movement involved. There's a lot of you just can't be unhappy. Like, you know, I always say soca music is the happiest music in the world. So, you know, you just can't be unhappy when soca music is on, right? So, and then the other part of that is, you know, the dancing that's involved with soca music, or that is associated with soca music. You know, there are some who are like, oh, that's the gyrating and this and that and whatever. But as you were saying on the other, that's like your chakras working, okay? Like that's
Yes.
That's important. Come on now, people, really. And, you know, there's some people who say that, you know, oh, the whining is sexual and this and that. It's dancing. People, it is just not that deep. Come on, really. But I digress, because I could go on and on and on about it too.
Yes. I have lots of thoughts in that area. It's like, no, you are stepping into this energy and embodying pleasure.
Yes.
We don't want to experience pleasure. We, as people, we want to not feel. That's why we don't move, or we stay stuck, right? We stay in a stuck place because we don't want to feel. We don't want anything to hurt or be uncomfortable. Well, you're already uncomfortable because the way that we tend to think has so much to do with society and other people's expectations versus moving from a part of our true self.
Absolutely. Yes, I couldn't have said it better myself, honestly, because it just is, it's like exact opposites, right? You know, if you do not move your body in that way, then yes, you are going to be stuck, because movement is a part of it all. You know, whether it's taking steps towards what you want to do, whether it's moving your body in a way that is pleasurable to you, right? And it's for your pleasure and not for anybody else's, right? Yes. Yes, yes. And she's getting into her yogi.
I'm laughing because I was like, oh man, I am. Look at this. Look at this. I just.
I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. And you all got a glimpse of Kiki's absolutely fabulous curves. I'm like, every time she comes over, she's walking over to the little yogi self. I was like, look at those curves. Yes, I love it.
Oh, you know, so I mentioned earlier about being in this space when I first started about worrying about my body and my size, right? And mind you, again, I don't mind saying numbers. I want to get away from this idea that we can't share numbers. But at the time, I was 150 pounds, and I thought, oh my goodness, because of what other people were telling me about my body. What other people were bringing up about my body made me feel insecure and feel some type of way. My body was completely fine, but whatever. I hardly step on the scale, but I stepped on the scale recently. And I just out of curiosity was like, where am I? And I am knocking on the door of 200 pounds, right? And some people might be like, oh my goodness. Listen, I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, I am getting ready for winter. It's ready for hibernation season, honey. Like my body feels so good. But look, I got curves and I was like, my booty a little thick right now. I'm loving it in every type of way. And so as I get ready to twerk, I'm gonna take my underwear off and I'm gonna let the little part of my butt at the bottom, I'm gonna let it hang. I'm gonna let it jiggle. That's what I'm gonna let it do. So I say all of that to say it does size, body composition, whatever your makeup is, it has nothing to do with your ability to embody this practice in that way, right? The body is just the outer shell. Has everything to do with how you think and view and see yourself in it. Let loose. The body is very capable as long as the mind believes. So anyway.
Absolutely. And, for those of you who are watching, who are thinking, I've never done yoga before, or I don't know about this yoga thing. Like, seriously, this is one of the things that inspires me about Miss Kiki's journey, honestly, because you are correct. Even in popular yoga circles and who is, the yogi and all that stuff, most of them do not look like you, and I personally love that because you serve as inspiration for others who are perhaps stuck or perhaps are not feeling good about their body to step into that space where they are feeling good about their bodies and they're on the journey to, and I don't want to say healthy, I think of it as feeling better, right? I don't think about it as being healthy because there's some people who are like, oh, you're an unhealthy body and this and that and body mass index and all that stuff, right? But I like to think about it in terms of feeling better, because when you feel better, everything just starts to flow from there, right? So that's what I feel. You're a real inspiration, for other people who are watching this. And I'm like, hey, come on, let's do some twerk yoga. Come on.
Yoga. Let's do some twerk yoga. In my experience in teaching twerk yoga, I actually started teaching twerk yoga virtually. We were starting to come out of COVID, but people were still not coming out of their home. And I was like, look, I'm encountering too many people that are not happy right now. And so I offered twerk yoga virtually, and it was a big thing. I went viral on TikTok, and that's how so many people found me. And it was like, I need this. And so we were doing twerk yoga. But what has happened, and I feel such an honor. I'm getting emotional. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm very humbled and honored, but I have been hundreds. Has it been thousands yet? Maybe. I've been hundreds of men and women's first time experiencing yoga, and they have found it through twerk yoga. And I always laugh. I'm like, so twerk yoga is your first experience with yoga? All right, bet. And so it is such a beautiful and humbling experience that I get to be someone's first experience of yoga. And whether or not they continue on with me, many of them continue their practice. They go back to their home state. They find a yogi that is right there, that is available for them, whether they need in person, and they continue on and they go further in their practice. That is the very essence of yoga, is to have this union, this meeting of the minds, this meeting of the body, this opportunity to tap into the soul, the inner bliss, the parts of us that has no feelings or emotions. It just is. Can I drop the mic?
Woo, child, yeah, you can drop the mic, get off the box, like you can. That is awesome. And that is the perfect segue into our ultimate girls getaway, because that's what it is all about. Just being whoever and whatever it is that you really want to be. We're going to give you some twerk yoga. You're going to have some alone time, time to journal, time to really have that space to breathe, because you and I've talked about this a couple of times, Keke, where as Black women, we have so many demands on us. You know, we have our families, we have our businesses or our jobs or churches or, you know, organizations that depend on us. We have so much going on that we fall to the bottom of the list, you know, and we're constantly sent messages by society that we should be at the bottom of our list as women, right? Women, we're supposed to be the caretakers. We're supposed to take care of everybody else, but we're not taking care of ourselves, and we are not giving ourselves the permission to take care of ourselves either. So really the ultimate girls getaway is about coming back to giving yourself the permission to just breathe. Literally, really. And, you know, that's one of the things that I really love about practicing yoga with you, Keke, because it's the breath work for me, you know, and I find since I started doing yoga regularly with you that I'm more aware of my breath on a daily basis, and just having that space to breathe. Okay, now we can go back into something else. So that's really what the ultimate girls getaway is about. So I'm just so excited about the merging of all of this coming together and I have my cup. This was not intentional, by the way. I have my Barbados cup.
I'm not jealous. I'm going to have the same cup. So
I will get you one. I will get you one. Yes, we will do that, right? This was not intentional. I swear it was not. I just picked up this cup this morning. I was like, I need a big cup for some water.
Yes.
But we're going to be in Barbados, y'all, in September 2024. All right. So, but yeah, it is going to be the perfect coming together of, you know, the body, the breath work in a beautiful surrounding. I mean, Barbados is one of the most beautiful islands in the Caribbean. It's one of my favorite islands in the Caribbean. So just bringing some women there, you know, no matter where you're at, first time yoga person, you trying some twerk yoga, we got you. If you are practicing yoga and you're on your journey already, we got you. But this will be a place for you to do as much or as little as you want, and really, really all of the recharge, refresh, revitalize. Yes, all of the we will be definitely doing that at the retreat. So I'm so excited to have you as a part of this, because it is going to be amazing.
I'm so ready. I'm so ready.
I love it.
Outside of teaching yoga in that way, y'all, I'm retreating with y'all, right? So I'm retreating with y'all. We are going to have the ultimate experience outside of just going somewhere to go somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Like, however you arrive in this space and what your need is, that is how it will be met. So,
absolutely.
Sit by the door.
Right? You might as well go ahead and do that right now. Yes. And you know, one of the things that I'm also really excited about are the mini workshops that we're going to do and the mini circles that we're going to do while we're there as well. And you know, really giving you a safe space to share, you know, share your dreams, share your wants, share your needs, share all of this out loud with a supportive group of women who are where you are and are there to support you on your journey towards, let's say, feeling better. I feel like that's the feeling better. I love that. Yes, towards feeling better, whatever area of life it is. It could be money, it could be relationships. I mean, that's really what we're getting to the root of at this getaway, is really just whatever it is that you feel that you need, that you desire to really bring into your life. It's just kicking it off and getting you on that path in beautiful, sunny Barbados. Yeah. Well, Miss Keke, any final thoughts or comments?
You know, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for this space. Uh, to share twerk yoga in that way, or to share yoga in general. If you were watching, I hope that you will join us. Not because of anything that we have said, but because of that intuition, that gut feeling that you are experiencing. Go internally, feel those sensations, feel the breath, and if you're still watching, take a big inhale through your nose, exhale out through your mouth, relax your shoulders. Feel that breath move all the way down to your feet, to your toes. And may you move throughout the rest of your day with peace, calm, love, prosperity, and joy. That is my gift.
Oh, yes. I love that. And that's the perfect place for us to end. There's not much more to say after that. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Keke, for joining me and talking about, oh gosh, we talked about so many things, didn't we? We really did. We touched on so many wonderful, wonderful topics. So thank you so much for joining me today. And if you are still watching and you had that breath, we will end it off right there. So thank you so much for watching, and definitely join us for the next Ultimate Girls Getaway. I will leave the link in the description box below. And if you're reading our blog and you're on our website, it will be right below the video, y'all. So click on that link, find out about the Ultimate Girls Getaway, and we would love to have you with us in beautiful Barbados in 2024. And we will see you next time.